Hello, gorgeous ones. I think I say this nearly every time, but it's genuinely how I feel. I've missed you. It feels like it's been a really long time since we've connected, but it hasn't been that long because the last month's email and energy reading was about midway through the month. So, but time is an illusion, as they say, and it is however we perceive it to be, long or short. Um, and that's the way of it. So I'm just going to invite you as we start to tap into and feel into the energy that is April 2025 to close your eyes for just a moment. It seems to be such a luxury to offer ourselves a space to pause intentionally, to dare to close our eyes, because the busyness of the world and the busyness internally can swallow us whole if we allow it to, and we tend to allow it to more times than we care to admit. So upon closing your eyes or having a soft gaze, whatever feels nourishing, if you're inclined to do so, place a hand or your hands upon your heart. Center in there, connect in there. Notice what arises in you. Do you feel more restless as soon as you connect into your inner landscape? Or is there a sense of, oh, there you are. I remember this feeling. Why don't I do this more often? And maybe it's a mixture of all the above. Just tapping into that peace, because it is there, even if it doesn't seem like it. Tapping into that expansiveness that is ever present, to that quiet, to that silence, to that ease. It is so beautifully offering itself, constantly present, constantly accessible. Yet the busyness of our mind, the distractions of our ego, will and do tend to continue to keep us in that cycle of fight and flight or freeze, of never enoughness, of shoulding, of guilt, of shaming, that feeling of constantly being behind. It doesn't matter how much you do, it doesn't matter how much you show up, how much feedback, positive feedback that you get, there can be this lingering feeling of, I've missed something, I've forgotten something, I've let someone down. Notice how that feels, if you feel anything about that, if that rings true for you. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But if it does, just sitting with that for a moment. Not to make it worse, not to agitate or aggravate yourself further, but just to notice where that push to do, to keep forcing and showing up, often at the cost of yourself, comes from. Heaven forbid you give or offer yourself grace to just be, to step back sometimes, to step in sometimes, to tune into what it is you actually feel, what it is you actually need, what is in alignment in any given moment. Just offering another breath there, nothing too arduous, just a lovely breathing in, sighing it out. And just another 2 breaths, sipping in some breaths with your nose twice. And then doing that 2 more times. One more. Just holding it at the top there. And again, feeling into your heart, feeling into that beautiful, ever-present energy of your heart. And if it feels aligned or if it's naturally occurring, allowing that heart energy to expand out, rippling out of your room, out into the remainder of the building that you're in, your house, your apartment, your office, whatever, and to the street, and to the town, and to the city, the country, each country, the world, and on and on and on it goes. Savor that feeling. And if you haven't already, let go of your breath. Notice how magnificent you are, how beautifully your heart releases and receives, like the beautiful waves, the ripples of the sea, ebbing in and out, ebbing in and out. Sometimes the waves and the ripples are ever so slight. Sometimes they can feel quite big. Other times they can feel like a tsunami. But I cannot understate the importance of the relationship you have with yourself, with your heart, with your innate knowing, so that when it is, however it is, be it those little ripples, be it those bigger waves, be it that tsunami, you have that ability to center yourself, anchor yourself in this ever-present moment of now, in this collective consciousness, this soup of consciousness that we are all in, more now than ever. It is relevant and so valuable, priceless even, to know how to do this for yourself, not despite others, but to know, to reclaim with great vigor your innate knowing, your innate power, so that whatever is occurring, whatever will occur, whatever has occurred, even now you are able to process it, release it, center and strengthen yourself. Because it isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Things will come, things will be experienced in ways you'll love and ways you'll be terrified by. That is the human experience. And we are living in the era and the time of the great crumbling, the great crashing down of structures and ways of being and realities that have been built up over many, many, many years. And you have lived in those years, and now you are living in the time of the great change. So how is it you're going to support yourself? What is it you could do to bring in that scaffolding for yourself? Not to hold on, not to white knuckle it, not to hold your breath, but to provide this sense of certainty in the time of great uncertainty. To access that love, that joy, that knowing, when everything else can seem chaos and madness. You are your own hero, you are your own heroine. This is not despite others, but as well as. If someone else comes in to do it with you, if someone else comes to do it for you, with you, in collaboration and community, beautiful. Yes, that is where our intention and our heart lies and goes. And we will continue to build on that as well. But it cannot and will not sustain or be as effective unless we know how to do it for ourselves as well. This isn't about self-sufficiency. This isn't about being solitary or soldiering on or doing it on our own. This is about healthy mastering of your own divine intelligence, your innate intelligence, and reclaiming it wholeheartedly, embodying it with every cell and every part of your body, of your energy, of your being, consciously remembering the essence and the divinity that you have and that you are. And as you can see, since the ending of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, and we are now in, as surprising as it may be, the 4th month of 2025. How have you fared? What has come to light? What have you resisted knowing? What have you embraced wholeheartedly and gone, yes, I can see it, I can feel it, I can navigate that in places and ways that you could never imagine you could before? You've changed. Where is it that you have or you could take time to acknowledge, not from a conceited or egotistical way, but in a reverence way of recognition of how far you've come? Because that didn't just happen. It wasn't by chance. You made it happen. You've done and are doing the work. What is it that you are putting to the side, going, oh, I can't do that yet. I won't navigate that yet, or I won't access that yet, because that's where I'm guiding you to go now. If as soon as I said those words, certain things come up and you went, oh, I don't want to go there yet. Oh, I don't want to have that conversation. Oh, I don't want to leave that job yet. I don't want to move yet. I don't want to end that relationship yet. I don't want to feel into that yet, or I don't want to work through this in therapy, or I don't want to process this in my body, or go and see about those test results. I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to do that yet. This is time to do those things. You are so beautifully and masterfully, and that word keeps coming up, masterful, for yourself and for so many other people, and us as a human race, us as a species and divine beings that we are, sovereign beings that we are, although we forget it and we hand over our autonomy to anyone that will take it. To know this wholeheartedly, to meet yourself, and to pop the bubbles of energy that are leading you to hold your breath, to hold the tension in your body, to hold the tension in your psyche, and lead you to believe, or continue to believe, that you are limited, you are restricted, when nothing could be further from the truth. There is so much in the collective consciousness, so much being fed into the field about our limitations, that we are powerless, that we are insignificant. Who are we but one person? We are constantly being fed the story that you, me, every individual human is powerless. We are at the beck and call. We are at the state of and the place of whatever happens. We just have to tolerate it. We don't have a say. Amongst, this is the duality, right? Amongst all the things that could be perceived and are perceived and have been felt, feeling and felt on some level catastrophic or really, really awful, varying at any given moment. And I say this not from toxic positivity and not from a place of delusion. Truly, I've really sat with this and gone, you know, in these times to speak on these positive things, or this energy is coming, as beautiful, can be jarring, and can seem ignorant on one hand, cruel on another. Yeah, so many other things. I don't have the words for that now, but that's okay. But I've been guided very strongly to say it nonetheless. I can feel it, and I can feel if you're attuned and you're listening with your entire being, which I hope and I pray and I encourage you to. Notice the feelings, the emotions, the felt sense in your body, the thoughts or the images that are coming to mind, the sounds that you're hearing, the taste that you can taste, the smells that you're smelling. It's all giving you information. It's all affirming and clarifying it for you all of the time, not just now. But there is so much goodness coming online, so much. It's that thing of just when you think it's the end, just when you think it can't get any worse, just when you think, what else is going to happen? The stories in the collective of World War III, and people losing everything, and all of those things are there. You can see them with your eyes, you can hear it with your ears. I'm not saying that's not there. What I am saying is this is there as well. We tend to be and are biologically wired to have a negative bias that is intricately connected into our survival mechanism. I'm going to shut my door when my dog is barking. It takes great devotion, great work, practice, and showing up to dare to look at the possibility of positive things taking place, even amongst catastrophic things taking place. And I'm not talking about denial or delusion. I just want to say that again. I'm not. But if you feel that potential, and one of the reasons I'm encouraging you to feel that potential, that possibility, even if it seems ludicrous in this moment, some of you will just get what I'm talking about, but I'm speaking to those of you because it's important, that are resistant to even get angry at me saying what I'm saying right now. And I feel like most of you won't, but there'll be a few of you here that are and will have that kind of sense of what the, like, seriously, look at what's going on. How could there be any positive? I'm not saying those things are positive. I could go unpack that it all come until the cows come home. It doesn't feel relevant now. What I'm talking about alongside it energetically, literally embedded into the field, embedded into ourselves, is this phenomenal, powerful, positive frequency that is coming online stronger and stronger and stronger. And again, it's coming back to that place that we tend to understate and underrate and undervalue our ability to change things. Yeah. And so the more that we recognize or even dare, and that's what it is, dare to even imagine that that might be possible. What I'm saying right now, if it seems so left field or so out of the ballpark, it's not funny, or you're just like, oh, as if, um, your cynical self, I get it, no judgment, or the parts of you that are really in the muck right now is just like, fuck, I'm just holding my breath. I'm just treading water here. I can't even tap into that a little, let alone really get into that. Like, what point? What's the point? A flower doesn't grow to its full bloom until it's embedded into the earth, until it's been ready and willing to receive the sustenance and the minerals and the water and the sunlight, and really root itself and have that collaboration with the earth, that union with the earth. And then it grows and it blooms and it cracks open and the roots get deeper and the stalk comes up and the leaves furl out, and then the bud of the flower is there, and then one day, so beautifully, it opens up and blooms out and it shows its face and its beauty to the world. But it doesn't mean that every other stage hasn't been beautiful. It doesn't mean that every other stage hasn't been significant, because if those stages hadn't happened, the bloom and the beauty and it facing the world and showing itself and it's offering its scent could not happen. And that's the key, is receivership to the light, receivership and willingness to even dare to imagine that that could be possible, to even dare to feel, even ever so slightly, the possibility for that energy to be activated into your cells. We hold the tide, we hold the energy, be it on I'm going to use very duality language for a moment, the negative or the positive. We hold it, and we change the direction of the current in any given moment. You can't tell me you haven't seen, everyone has seen that rock on the water and the ripple that goes out. If anyone's seen this, it's so, I love it. There's a frog or a toad in the water, and it's making its sound, and there's ripple out in the water. It goes out and out and out. Each one of us does that. Everyone has had that experience of walking into a room and feeling that, what a beautiful energy, and you just naturally, organically open up. You just, oof, I'm here. This feels so good, and you're instantly receptive to that energy, or going into a place where the energy is so heavy and so dense, and you just contract. And there's so much of the energy right now that is designed to do that: contract, constrict, bunker down, shut down, keep your view as small as it can be possibly, your narrow view, keep it narrow, 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 limited, limited, limited. Where alongside that is this beautiful energy that I'm referring to, that I can feel quite a few of you have felt. So you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you that haven't or aren't fully aware of, but might be just starting to have remnants of it now as I articulate it this way. Soon as you say yes to that, it opens up each cell like that flower blooming. It opens it up not only to receive, but also to offer it to the field, offer it to the world, offer it to each other. And that's what we do for each other constantly. We're doing that all the time. That's not new. This isn't new, what I'm describing here, I'm explaining here. It's ever present, it's ever occurring. There's this powerful invitation to become more conscious. What am I putting into the field? I'm 99% sure I touched on this last time. So if there's threads of that coming through still, as there would be and as there is, perfect. Where is it? This is the question. Where is it? I'm going to get you to ask yourself this question. Where is it I am open to receiving the energy of the lightness of the day, the lightest, most luminous energy in the field at this time? Where is it I can access and feel and connect to and expand upon the most luminous, most powerful energy within my cells, within my being? Because for some of you, I don't have the full answer to why this is. It's part of your individual journey, I say. For some of us, it seems to have happened organically. We've made the agreement, yes, when this happens, this will come on, and we'll be like, yep, see it, feel it, we're on. And for others, it's literally you saying, I'm open to receive. I say yes to turning it on, however you would phrase it. And it's an ongoing process. There's a bit of density going on here. I'm not talking about stupidity, mind you. I'm talking about dense energy. And that doesn't make a person good or bad. It's just semantics. So if you feel that you are that person, it doesn't hurt those of you that feel, oh, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. It doesn't hurt to say it. It's not going to do anything, untoward. It's literally like turning that engine on. Yes, I'm open to allowing my light, the essence of me, the highest frequency that is available within me and around me, to be turned on, to be switched on, to flow out and flow in, to reach the highest space, to go into the places that it is needed so greatly, so that those that are ready to receive it may receive it and access it and turn it on for themselves, and on and on and on and on and on it goes. I see it so often in session and in group work. I work with a lot of people that are in the medical field, psychological field, psychiatrists, psychologists, and nurses, doctors, surgeons, and so on, amongst many other things. And, I just want to honor them for a moment. I know everyone, but I just want to honor the people in those fields right now, because especially if you're energy conscious, you have tapped into your remembrance, and to work in those fields, they are really working in dense places. But I see them, and it makes me want to cry now. I see them walk through these hallways and into these places with that dense energy and sometimes dark energy, and their light, sorry, I'll try not to cry, their light just ripples out and ripples through that place and reminds everyone in whatever experience they're having, this is still here too. This is still here too. And we tend to forget and keep ourselves plugged into forgetting. We can remember, and then go back into amnesia. That does happen, and it has happened, and it's being encouraged to happen. So watch that in yourself. Watch that in your loved ones. Not that you have to shake them and wake them. That's not our job. We're not here to shake and wake people up and go, you should be awake. It's their journey. Lead by example. Hold your frequency, access your frequency, expand upon your frequency, and offer it to the world. And those that are ready to pick it up will, and those that aren't won't. Simple. But if you put your light into the world, first and foremost for yourself, and then it's offered into the world, and it allows and reminds someone to turn their light on as well, that is priceless. And it's anything but us being powerless. That is where our power lies. It's not about our enemy. It's not about fighting against something. It's about existing at your highest frequency. It's about sitting in that place and enjoying that process. And joy is such an underrated feeling state that ripples through as well as authenticity. Where is it that you are being authentically you? Where is it, or how is it you could surround yourself with more people that you can be your most authentic self, your unmasked self, you know? This is the first day of April, as I mentioned, and I just reshared this morning my own journey of my autism diagnosis along with ADHD 26 years prior. And that has been intricate and essential to my own journey of authenticity. We don't know what we don't know. And you don't need to be neurodivergent to have that experience, although it's quite pronounced for those of us that are in that way. But others you can be neurotypical and have your own version of that, right? So what is it, or where is it that you are hiding parts of yourself? You've put certain parts of yourself into the cupboard. You put certain parts of yourself, left it in a shed somewhere. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the way we all do it, you know? And you can start to call them home. Say, welcome back. I'm so glad you're back. We're going to live together now. We're no longer going to be dispersed here, there, and everywhere, coming back together, because the ability to embrace yourself in that way. And I mean, literally giving yourself a hug and just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Recognizing the importance of that sacred relationship you have with yourself, this unique and loving, sometimes for some of us, myself included, over my lifetime, it has been an abusive relationship, you know, and one that there's been a lot of abandonment. We've abandoned ourselves and underrated and undervalued ourselves and allowed others to treat us the way that we think we deserve. When we start to really intentionally bring our authenticity back online, we no longer take that kind of treatment from ourselves or anyone else. We no longer sit in places where we take less than we deserve. We can't sustain that energy. We can't sit in places, we can't sit at tables where coldness and deceptiveness or cruelness or anything but love is being served. You can no longer do it. And that authenticity and that energy that I'm talking about, they go hand in hand. They're deeply, deeply connected, because they will show you, it will illuminate things that you're called to say, even though you don't fully understand why you're called to say it, things that you're called to express, even though you're not always, sometimes you'll know, but there'll be a lot of times that you're not sure, not entirely sure, but you'll know that it's right, why you're called to say it, why you're called to express it, why you're called to do it in whatever way you're doing it. That is the journey of the human brain will not always understand it, but your soul will say, yes, 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 that thing, go there, speak to that person, say that thing, write that thing, draw that thing, share that thing, wear that thing, do your hair that way. It's not molding you, it's reattuning you to your innate self. It's this reunion and this welcoming home of you to yourself, and then introducing yourself to the world, to the people, to the places that are aligned to this self as he or she or they are. How would that feel? Is it even possible to imagine how that would feel? Do you contract as soon as I speak of that? Or is there a sense of, I would love that. Oh my God, I can feel that. I so want that. I want more of that. It's a choice by choice, step by step, breath by breath kind of thing. And it's a bit of a dance. You step in, you do it, and you step back to always, you know. If you've been a certain way for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, you know, it's an ongoing process. And we can often think it's not doing anything, nothing's happening, because on the surface, we might see so much, but internally, I can guarantee its ripple effect is phenomenal, phenomenal. And often others will see it and feel it before you do. Yeah. People will often reflect back to you, you've changed, something's different about you. And you'll be like, really? I feel okay. And then after a little while, you'll kind of feel into what they said, and it gives you permission, or it helps you be able to feel it or recognize it in a way that you couldn't before. And then, woof, oh, wow, there is this. Oh, they're right. And you recognize it. And it's just beautiful when that happens, when you've got people in your lives that see you. Yeah, see you as you are and your most beautiful light self when you forget that about yourself, or you've never even remembered it because there's never been the opportunity for that to happen. So April, the month of the reunion, the coming home consciously, of inviting and creating and deliberately being more authentically yourself, making no apologies for it, intentionally connecting to, expanding upon that beautiful light, that positive light that I'm referring to, that is rippling through and just waiting for you to say yes, even if it seems ludicrous, even if it seems a waste of time. What have you got to lose by saying yes to receiving it, to accessing it, to daring to even imagine that it is possible to change the trajectory that is being put into the field? Because there is stories, many stories. They don't have to be your stories. They don't have to be our stories. We have as much right to direct what is taking place as anyone else, no matter their role, no matter their place. Yeah. Just sending you all so much love, wrapping you up in a big, warm embrace, as much as you want, as much as you're comfortable with. And I just hear the words as I wrap up. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I hope that you're proud of yourself too. All right. Lots of love.